What's up, CrossCity? We're kind of starting a part. Gosh, I can't even talk. What's up, CrossCity? We're getting a podcast started, kind of checking to see who are the people in our ministries and where did they come from? Why are they the way that they are? And today we have Shane. So Shane, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you? How old are you? Where do you serve? What's one fun fact about you?
Well, I'm 49 years old. I'll be 50 next month. And
Right on.
I serve all over the place. I serve in Flight 56, student ministries for 8th grade. I serve at a men's table on Thursday night. I'm a table leader. And I also serve in Christ Warriors for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade boys.
And Grill Masters.
Grill Masters, yes. I definitely love that ministry.
Yeah.
Cooking food for people is amazing.
Yeah.
A fun fact, I still like to play video games.
All right. What's your game?
Well, I play Heroes of the Storm.
Okay. Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Blizzard Entertainment, yes.
Yeah. That's crazy. So that's a little bit like is that like Overwatch in a sense, or is that more like?
It's from the same makers of Overwatch,
Okay.
so it has all the same characters in it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There's just more to do.
No, I would say Overwatch is more to do. This is just a 5-on-5
Okay. Yeah.
teams versus teams. So.
Right on. So like, what character do you like to play as? Are you like the tank, or you like?
Well, I like all of them.
Yeah.
There's a few characters out of the 50 of them on there that I don't care for, but majority I like to play all of them.
Right on. Yeah, I mean that kind of, you like to do a little bit of everything.
DPS, would probably be the number one.
All right. I haven't played that game. I'm more of a troll on Call of Duty. It just fits me. So if there's anything that I can do to make people mad in a video game, I go do it. So.
Yeah, I'm not a very good aimer when it comes to Call of Duty, so I just get flustered and frustrated.
If you want to see flustered and frustrated, you should have seen me playing Call of Duty in December. That was pretty rough. I was a mess. It was great though. But we're here. How did you get here? Tell us a little bit about your childhood. What did you like? How did you become who you are today?
Well, my parents got divorced at an early age, so I had two families that I traveled in between. For the first 9 years, I lived with my mom and my stepdad, and we lived in. We moved here from Fresno to Wisconsin, and lived there for about a little over a year, and then moved to Wisconsin, and that's when I decided that I would like to live with my dad at the age of 9, and so I moved back here to Fresno, and I was living with him and my stepmom and my sister until they separated, and that was about 8th grade, and I went to so many different schools, so I was always just trying to fit in and make friends.
Yeah. What school did you attend when you were living in Fresno? What junior high?
I went to Fort Miller.
All right. It
was pretty rough. It was really rough. And after Fort Miller, we actually, my dad and my stepmom got back together, and we moved to Visalia, and I went to Divisadero. And then from Divisadero, I went to Mount Whitney as for 9th grade. Okay. And then they separated again and got a divorce this time, and I moved back to Fresno and started Clovis West.
All right. Clovis West.
All
right. I went to Clovis West freshman, sophomore year. It was a doozy. What year did you graduate from Clovis West?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. So in 11th grade, I made some pretty bad choices and pretty much got sent home from school permanently.
Yeah, I never got sent home from school. Some teachers wish they would have, but.
And I ended up having to do home studies. So I went to school once a week at
Yeah.
that Gateway campus.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So you just did online school before it was cool.
yeah, there was no computers to do online school. We just went once a week. They gave us book work and came in and they checked it. And
Yeah. But you finished high school, and
yeah, I did.
Did you do you have any like fun memories from your childhood, or just like crazy memories from your childhood?
You know, me and my friends, we used to make some dumb decisions, but and in these apartments we used to live in, there was a security guard that always roamed, and we were always trying to get that security guard to chase us. Anything we could do to get that guy to chase us all over the complex was entertaining to us, and so we would go out there and we would just, occasionally shoot a bottle rocket off here and there, make some noise, and they would just go, "What the heck is that?" and just start coming after us, and they would chase us all. We'd be on our bikes, and they would be in a vehicle, and we'd just be all over the place, laughing, hiding behind corners, and then they would see us, and just go running from them again. It was kind of harmless fun, I felt like at the
cat
time.
and mouse
Yeah.
type.
When we did get caught, it would just be like, you can't be doing that, and we're like, yeah, we know, okay.
I'm sorry. I promise I won't do it again until tomorrow.
Yeah, they were pretty familiar with us.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you grow up, you graduate high school. What did you go from high school? Did you go to church when you were younger, like for college, or was church a part of your life?
So yeah, I did attend church with my mom while I was still living with her. It was kind of like school. I went to many different churches. So what my main concern as a child going to church was making friends and having fun.
Yeah.
I did learn who Jesus was. I just didn't understand who he was. That concept didn't come until way later on in life.
Yeah. So you had attended church. I mean, you lived with your mom until you were about 9.
Yes.
So then you really didn't attend church?
After I moved away from my mom to live with my dad, I no longer attended church.
Yeah. And then after you graduated high school, what did you do? Did you go to school? Did you go to college or trade school?
I immediately was working.
Yeah.
So my first job was Kentucky Fried Chicken after high school. I had worked before that at a few different places. But I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken and another place called the Golden Grape Cafe, and they were both located in Kerman.
Okay, right on. And so from there, like how did you end up like going to church for the first time, or how did you end up like getting reconnected to God? Or maybe even just connected to God.
From that time as being a teenager until a long stint of making bad decisions as an adult, it wasn't until I met my wife, and she asked me if I would like to start going to church.
Yeah.
And so yes, we started attending North Point.
North Point. So 1 to 9, you attend church. At what point did you meet your wife? What point did you actually start going to church with her? How old were you?
So I met my wife when I was 29 years old.
Okay, so there's a 20-year gap.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we got married within a year. It was a 1 year, I think. We were seeing each other, dating, and then we got married. But it was after we got married is when she asked if I would like to attend.
Yeah.
Would I please go to church?
Yeah, and she was attending, like...
No, she was not. No. She actually went to Fresno Christian. That's where she graduated from. But she too had fallen away from living a life, a Christian life.
Yeah. So she had that foundation, and so you guys got married, and she's like, "Hey, we got to get back going to church."
And so we started attending, and my heart wasn't in it. It was more of the, it felt like it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So I showed up on Sunday, and I love worship. That was one of my favorite things, and I just didn't get involved. It was just a Sunday, and see ya.
Yeah, you'd go, enjoy. I'm gonna live my life how I want to.
Exactly. I came home and I did what I did, and that was usually the bad choices.
Yeah. So, at that point in your life, you started going back to church.
Mm-hmm.
you would attend on the weekend, and then you wouldn't really live like you were going to church.
Oh, not at all. I was really trying hard to do better. I got involved with some Bible studies eventually. A good friend of mine from high school was doing really well, and he was starting to host some Bible studies through the church, and asked if I would join, and I was like, yes. And I was progressively trying to get better, but I was still caught up in drinking. I had a problem drinking alcohol, so I chose to continue to do that whenever I was outside of the church.
Yeah, so there was this, and I'm assuming you had kind of developed that habit after high school. You were working in that life.
I started drinking early, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, you had started drinking early. Now it's like you're going to church. You were trying to get a little bit better, but what was it that like finally like gave you that extra push to be like, hey, like I want to be more than I want to, act like I believe more than just when I'm there on Sundays.
Well, the Lord gave my wife the strength to do something I never thought she would be able to do, and that was, she told me I had to leave the house. She had had enough of my alcoholism, and that was the day that God opened up my eyes. It was my rock bottom. And I immediately got on my hands and knees and cried out to the Lord and asked Him to forgive me. And I asked Him to take my life into His hands, and that I could no longer do this on my own. I could not figure out how to do life, and I needed Him. And I poured all my heart into that, and that's the day that everything changed.
What did that feel like in that moment? Like, what did it, I guess, describe those feelings going on right before you hit rock bottom?
I was just blinded before rock bottom. I didn't even see it coming. I was just living life, and it was just those simple words from my wife that I had basically destroyed our relationship, and she no longer wanted a part of it, that just drove me into the arms of the Lord.
And so that's what gave you that push in that direction. So you made that decision, you hit rock bottom. You said, hey, God, I need you. I'm desperate. I want you in my life. What was your next step from there? Because I'm sure that it's not just like, all right, I'll take you back. Like there had to be a little bit more.
She did not just take me back. Yeah. I had to do some hard things, and I had to go to rehab. I had to get myself sober, and then I also had to live in a sober living house and get my life back together. And on day one, when I walked in on Saturday to that rehab facility, it was in the evening, and in the morning when I woke up, they said, would you like to attend church? You have the option. You don't have to, but you can. And I was like, I am in 100%.
Yeah.
And they brought me to this church. And
to CrossCity?
To CrossCity.
Right on.
And I have been here every day since, other than being sick and not being able to make it. Yes.
Right on. So what year was that?
That was in 2018, September 24th, 2018.
Wow. Man, so it's been 7 years. Math's hard, but almost 7 years.
Yes.
Almost 7 years. And one more question about that season. When you had hit rock bottom, and then now you're trying to make that change of like, hey, I used to live this way. I don't want to live that way anymore.
Yes.
I know we all have seasons in our lives that feel like they're a different pace. Like the amount of time it felt like when I was younger growing up, at certain times felt longer than others, even though it was 3 months. It felt like an eternity. But when you were making that decision to finally change and work through overcoming alcohol addiction, how long did that season of life feel like it took?
Well, the first few months felt like a year. I cried a lot. I was devastated. All I wanted was my wife and my family back, and I was striving so hard to do the right things to achieve that. Mm-hmm. And then I learned that I was trying for all the wrong reasons. I needed to focus in on my relationship with God and doing things for myself, not to please others. The basis of that question I totally forgot. So
no, it was like, how long did that season feel like it took? And I think you answered it like the first couple months felt like a year. That season felt a lot longer than it actually was.
And it extended. It was once I gave up on trying to please others and show them that I was making the right choices now, that's when things really started to move at a normal pace. Because I was doing it for the Lord now. I was doing it for me. And that's when things started changing back for the best, for good. That's when God really took control and lit my path up and showed me the way, introduced me to all sorts of new people from this church. And it was amazing.
Yeah. Question was, like how long did that take? And now you finally made the decision. You found that connection with God. And you were beginning to make the choices that are like, hey, like I want this. I want to continue to grow with my relationship with God. Was there like, who were the people that came alongside you to help you make those decisions or inspire you to make those decisions?
So let's not say it was particularly people that helped me, but me and my wife decided to seek out a marriage counselor through the well. And this woman told us that we should check out regeneration. And we did, both of us. And regeneration is where the big changes really occurred. Not just for me, but also for my wife. And the Lord showed me so many things about myself that I just didn't know or understand or had pushed out of my life. And that's when the real things begin to change. He did bring people in after I completed regeneration to really help me extend further into my faith and wanting to be of service to others. And one of those being Derek Bryant.
Yeah.
That man I love. And he is a great encourager and has really helped me to strive to be a better man. When I first met him, I used to just go home and say, babe, I want to be like Derek.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
it's
I know the feeling.
It's awesome, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome when someone accepts you for the person you are, the person you're becoming, and the person they see that you can become. And, because of Derek and what he has fed into me, now there are people that say that about me at this church. Gosh, I want to be more like Shane. Look at how much he serves. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm broken.
I mean, we all are. And I think it's you've given people hope that they can change. Like that's a big thing, but also like even more than that, like you're willing. There's this scripture that says, the work is plentiful, the workers are few. Something along those lines. I butchered it, I'm paraphrasing. But I feel like you not only were given the opportunity to serve a lot, but that's really like where your heart is. And that's how I got to know you. I was like, who is this guy? Why do I see him everywhere?
That's awesome.
And I was like, I got to get to know him a little bit more. And I remember sitting in this room having like a similar conversation to this. That's why I wanted to film in here. But I feel that same connection with Derek that you do, because he was pretty pivotal in my life when I was a little bit younger too, kind of going through those same things of like people knew me as this, and he saw something different in me. And for me, like that was a huge pivotal thing, because I had to change a lot of things in my life too, different than you, but everyone's got their stuff. Everyone is broken. But he gave me that push to get over it and to overcome my past. But as far as you kind of mentioned, now people say that about you.
Yes.
So where are the things that you're using that now? Like who are the people that you want to be a Derek Bryant to, or that you want to show a reflection of Jesus to?
Well, I just want to be that to everyone. I want to live that life. I just want to be seen as different everywhere I step, everywhere I go, with every action that I make. Whether it doesn't necessarily have to be at this church. I would prefer it to be out in the wild, is what I'll call it. At Walmart, at Target, at the fast food place, which I don't eat. But if I did, it's just, if someone smiles at you, hi, how are you doing? We just did an event, the All Church Serve Day, right? And I got an opportunity to go and join Showers of Hope Ministry. And while the homeless were getting their haircuts and showers, we were preparing food to serve to them. And there was so many volunteers that I got a chance to step away from the grill and the usual activities that I partake in. And I got to go and introduce myself and be introduced, or have those people introduce themselves to me, to the whole line. I was just shaking hands and asking names, and it was an amazing opportunity. One that I have been praying to do, I've been praying for to do, and I've always fallen short because I'm like, the grill needs attending, or I can't step away, I have to watch, I have to babysit this kind of. But I had that perfect opportunity that God opened the door and says, today you get to do what you've been asking to do. And it felt amazing. And I was so overcome with joy. And the people in line, they were overcome with joy. And I just felt God's presence involved in every aspect of that day. It was amazing.
That's awesome. So you were like in charge of cooking the food and all that, but you actually got to step away from the grill.
I was
and
the
like
site
interact.
lead for that ministry. That
right
day.
On. So you got to interact with other people who were, doing the haircuts, prepping the food, but you also got to interact with the people that you were.
I mostly interacted with the homeless people.
Okay.
Yes.
And like that was what you had always wanted to do.
Yes.
What do you feel like held you back from that? Like before this, was it? I know that you mentioned that you always felt like you needed to attend the grill, but
those are excuses I used in my brain because I was a little nervous to go and talk to people. Like, what would I say to these people, or how? I was just scared. Yeah, really, and it's all the praying I did to God. He broke that barrier down for me and took away that nervousness, that little bit of fear inside of me, and says, son, today you're going to get to do this, and you're not going to be worried about it. And it was great.
So we had Church Serve Day.
Yes.
And, you serve all over the place. You do Grill Masters, all of that stuff. How did you end up getting connected to Flight 56? And that's kind of what led you to me in junior high. But how did you get connected with 5th and 6th graders there?
That would be Derek Bryant.
It's always him, man. It's always him.
So I started out with my own son attending Christ Warriors. And I live a half hour away from church, so I would bring Owen to Christ Warriors, and I wasn't going to turn around and go home. It's only an hour and a half long. So Derek was like, if you're going to just hang out, you're more than welcome to help out. And well, that's where I started. That was my first children's helping out situation, right? So from there, I started attending like men's Bible study, right? Just showing up. And My wife was also serving in kids ministry. She started in first grade. So in the beginning, we were taking 2 separate vehicles. I was leaving after church service, and then I was like, this just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm already involved with 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Why don't I just get involved with Flight 56?
Yeah.
So I went and talked to Timmy and asked him if it was okay. And he's like, we always need extra help. So
Yeah.
And again, with Owen coming into junior high.
Yeah.
Well.
And so you've been with those boys for this is year 4?
Yes.
Right on. That's crazy. It's underestimated, just like being with a group of kids, being that consistent figure, and just being there is reassuring to them, because they might not have that constant at home. And I feel like I'm understanding that so much more as life goes on, that like just with people, the longer that you're there, the longer that they know that you're a consistent presence, the more you mean to them. And that's also one of the hardest things to do. It's not always the most common, like in our culture either, that people are a part of your life for very long, especially nowadays. But so you've been serving in junior high. You're almost like 2 years. You're almost moving on to high school.
Yes, sir.
It's tough. Going to be sad, but I'll still wrangle you in every once in a while, you know. But you know, what has been the hardest part about serving in student ministries?
I guess the hardest thing would just be some of the attitudes of the kids. You know, maybe they're having bad days, or you know, I don't know what their home life is like. So they can be a little hyperactive, or just want to be seen and noticed and act out. You know, and try to overtalk you and be silly, and that, to me, that's just a little frustrating. But the longer I've done it, the easier it gets to deal with, because I'm just like, this is who they are at this age.
Yeah. Junior high, like nobody wants to go through junior high, even less people want to go back. And I've lived my life in junior high at this point, and it's a special age, and it takes some patience. But if you've been praying for patience, I got the place for you to serve. But what has been the most rewarding part of it, though? Like every ministry comes with its challenges. Every place that you serve comes with its challenges. But what has been the most rewarding thing?
Well, one of the things, and there's a few. One of them is how well of a connection I have with my own son, because I'm coming with him. I'm involved in his life. He looks up to his dad for doing things like this, you know, and whether he tells me that he loves it or not, I can see it.
Yeah.
And that is one of the greatest things I could ever hope for, because I didn't have that same thing in my own childhood. And then the connection that I've made with some of the other kids. And some of the kids really are chasing after Jesus with their full heart. They feel bad when they do things wrong, and they want to change, and will come and talk to you like they're already a young little adult, and asking for wisdom and advice. And that is one of the most precious things that I think I could ever come across as far as a junior high student.
And that's the coolest thing about junior high ministry, is when they enter junior high as a 7th grader, they are a kid. And generally when they're leaving in 8th grade, just a short time later, they're asking those questions of like, what kind of man am I becoming? What kind of woman am I becoming? And you get to walk along that journey with them, and you get to see them go through one of the fastest periods of change in their life. And I mean, just like you said, they'll reach out to you. They'll let you know if you're consistent. What is there? You mentioned with your son, them confiding in you. Is there something else? Because you mentioned there was a few.
You know, it's a total interaction with all of the kids. And how they want to fist bump you when they see you, because, you know, I've known them for years now, right? Yeah. And so I'm just part of the clan.
Yeah.
My son's friends, They're not exactly my friends, but they're really friendly towards
Yeah.
me, and that too is just something that most men, most fathers don't have with their own children or their children's friends.
Yeah.
And even the girls that I've been around, through Flight 56 and here, they know who I am. They say hi. They're pleasant.
Yeah.
I'm not that scary dude with a big old beard,
Yeah. Not anymore, at least. Not anymore. I remember when I first met you.
I don't.
I was not scared.
Well, I hope not.
No, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But now I've gotten to get to know you, and you're not so scary anymore.
No.
But yeah, it's like, I mean, that's really why I wanted to do these like longer form conversations. Is a lot of times like whether you have a big beard or not, you're like this older, scary person that.
Yeah.
And it's that way because people just don't know you, and they don't really know where you came from, who you are, what you're about, and the things that you've overcome. And that's what I feel like as we get older, sometimes we don't understand that about the people that we're interacting with. I liked what you said earlier about you were like, I want people to know that I'm different even when I'm out in the wild, because I spend a lot of my time at the church, and that's one thing that like I genuinely miss sometimes is like people know me as just the pastor dude that works with junior high kids, and I don't always get those interactions of people who like aren't interested in God on some level, because most of the interactions I have are at church where people are interested in God. And so like there's certain times where like I wish I had more opportunities to be like you, or at least I would take more advantage of that. But as we kind of wrap up here, I wanted to kind of get like some pointed advice from you. So I when we were kind of discussing the podcast, the conversation that we were going to have, I asked you to, what is 1 to 2 sentences of advice that you would give somebody? I know it's a vague question, but yeah.
I think number one is that you don't wait to hit rock bottom to seek out God. God's right there. He's there now. You don't need to make bad choices all throughout your life and hit that rock bottom in order to find your purpose in life and the goodness that the Lord has to offer each and every one of us, because He loves us all. And another thing is that the way to do that is by reading the Bible. You don't know who God is unless you read about Him and learn who He is and how much love He does have for all of His people, and why He gave His one and only Son to die on the cross for our sins. You can assume all you want, but until you actually know who the maker of the heavens and earth is, and there's no other way to do it other than reading that Bible, then you'll be lost. I think the Bible and the words that come out of it will fill your heart and allow the Holy Spirit to work inside of you in ways you could never imagine.
Yeah. You just got to give them that chance, and before you hit rock bottom, like you said. Well, Shane, I feel like I know you a little bit better now, and just thank you for coming, having a conversation. I hope a lot of us who are listening, I hope that you understand and get to know Shane just a little bit more, and get to know why he is the way he is, and maybe he's not that scary older guy with the beard anymore. You're able to
Let's go. We're going to camp this year. Yes.
Yes, that'll be fun.
He wrangled me in. I'm going to do junior high camp and high school camp.
Yes. Gonna be everywhere, like usual.
Yes, sir.